All right, so we're continuing talks on knowing the unknowable. We've been talking about how we can bring the spirituality and actual practice of knowing the unknowable in the mainstream in our daily life. Uh, we have a lot of
Knowing the Anna?
unknowable. Unknowable is Paramatma. Paramatma is not under the grasp of the senses. Paramatma is something you cannot touch, you cannot smell, you cannot hear. But this is all we know. Our life revolves around our senses. We touch something, we can share it. Say, okay, I touched it, you touched it. So we all know. So that's what's a common knowledge. But the God does not fall under the category of common knowledge. So that's why he's called unknowable. And yet there is a way to know him. The problem is, so far all these religions have created these so-called highways that my highway is the best. You take this road and you're going to be reaching there. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Because all religions are based on the senses also. If you want to call yourself a Hindu, you have to put a tilak. You have to dress certain way. You have to chant certain mantras. If you are, or call yourself a Jain, which is another highway, then you have to dress up certain way. You have to put a certain dot on the head, or same thing for Judaism, or same thing for Christianity, same thing for Muslim. So if you follow these guidelines, you are on that pathway. But unfortunately, spirituality is not a way where you can take a highway and reach there in no time. The spirituality, you have to create your own path. And the path opens up as you keep walking in that direction. You have to work at it. You have to find out where you stand. You have to take a decision, and you have to move on from that. And ultimately, you will reach Paramatma. Even people who have become enlightened, all of them have said that you find your own path. Do not follow me. But why did we create all these things? Because of your personal satisfactions, personal reasons behind it are that, okay, Mahavir reached enlightenment, Buddha reached enlightenment. So let's start worshipping him, build temples, accept donations, and this and that. So ultimately, personal greed has created all these highways, so-called highways, to make people believe. And people are also naive that, okay, oh, if I have a big highway, why do I have to go into the jungle and create my own path? But not realizing they are not really going anywhere. Right from the birth, the label has been given out that you are born in such and such family, so you are a such and such person. You take this highway because we've been traveling on this highway. But nobody stops and asks, have I reached anywhere following these highways? It has not. So unfortunately, it's like a bird flying on the sky. Once it flies and reaches the destination, it does not leave any marks. Another bird that has to fly, he has to find his own path. The same way, when we are on spirituality, we have to find our own path. And yes, we have to make efforts on we have to have desire, we have to have inclination that we want to do this. Until you have a desire, nothing is going to happen. And what is the actual manifestation of your desire? What is the ultimate proof that you have a desire? Where you starting a journey. A journey that goes within, and you try to find yourself. If you're not making any efforts in that direction, and if you're still walking on the same old pathways, you don't have a desire. So until you have a desire, nothing is going to happen. Otherwise, the life is going to go on like it has been going on for thousands of years. It did for your father.
इंसान को desire होना चाहिए.
Exactly.
इच्छा शक्ति, right?
Ichha Shakti. Until you have desire.
Desire for what?
Desire to meet Paramatma, to reach God, to actually realize this secret of life, actually experience the magic that human body is made for. Ultimately, God realization, enlightenment has to be there. If you don't have desire, that means you're doing it half-heartedly. So that's the whole reason. So we want to bring the process of knowing the unknowable. The first rule of that process is everyone has to take their own journey. No one can teach anyone else that, okay, you do this thing. Again, then we're creating a pathway. There are no pathways. Rajneesh says, you do your own. Zarathustra is one of the most ancient religion. is the Zoroastrian. Even before Judaism, even before Hinduism, Zoroastrian was the main religion that was started thousands of years back. And Zarathustra was the pioneer of that. So he said, the last sentence he said, beware of Zarathustra. Beware of him. If he comes in your image, break it up. Do not follow me. Follow your own instinct, follow your own desires, follow your own guidelines, follow your own analysis. This religion or so-called religions have not done anything. You have to create your religion. Your religion has to be based on science. What do we do in science?
Proof.
You do an experiment which is open to everyone. All the ingredients are there. You mix and match certain matter with this and see what happens. So you have an open mind. Your mind is not conditioned that, okay, it's going to happen like this. Nobody gives out the end results because nobody knows, right? But religions, they're based on total faith. If I want you to say, okay, believe this, that God is there, how do you know? How do you know? Supposing the guy who tells you that he has realized and he has enlightened, whatever may be the case. So he has realized it, but he cannot be telling you the results, but then it's not scientific. So scientifically speaking, the meditation or your journey into religion should be on a scientific basis. That, okay, I don't know anything, first of all. If you take the belief of the religions, that means you know. You already know the results of the experiment. So why do you have to work at it? And then you're accepting the results. So faith is not scientific. Faith is only a belief. A belief for you. It may be a truth for Mahavir or Buddha or Krishna, but it's not a truth for you until you do the experiment and you get your own results, and then your belief starts. So the problem is, when you accept faith, meaning you accepting somebody else's experimental truth. So when the truth is transferred into your head, it becomes a belief. And belief is useless. Belief can change any time. Say you have a belief in Jainism, and somebody comes and argue and say, okay, all right, looks like this is more believable. So that you drop that belief. Belief has a very transitory value because it is based on so-called knowledge.
Before we believe the milk is good for you.
It's based on matter.
Hearsay.
Exactly. It's not your own truth.
It's not your truth.
It's not your own truth.
Because
Your
somebody
truth.
else
करना पड़ता है ना, मैं गुरु को फॉलो करता हूँ तो मेरे को उसके बाद बिलीव तो होएगा ना, मैं ये दिस इज गोइंग राइट पाथ.
Not necessarily.
You don't.
If the guru tells you that believe me, then you are in a wrong path. Guaranteed.
Then all the guru says that you follow.
That's where they are there. They want followers. They want you to believe it. As soon as the kid is born, they say, he's been said, okay, you are Hindu, these are the number of gods we follow, and this is what you believe. If I tell you that, believe me, that this is it, then your journey into your own path is never going to be there. So now, what do? You have a god in your hand. You have a statue of a god in your hand. What do you do now? You worship it.
Yeah.
And you keep worshipping and rituals and all that. And you keep doing it till you die. And you teach your own kids the same
Because
thing.
their parents had taught us like that.
Exactly. Were they enlightened?
Huh?
Did they reach the enlightenment?
Why should we care?
But that's the
because
problem.
we respect them.
That's the problem. All the people who were enlightened, they say, find your own truth. If you believe that walking like a bullock cart and you keep on milking the oil from the peanuts and all that, like, how the bullocks kept on going, that's your life. Your life is very precious. Life is more than what you see. Have you reached that spot? If you have not, how can you tell your child to follow the same path that you have followed? So everyone who has reached enlightenment have gone on their own path. I always say Mahavir was Kshatriya. Kshatriyas are Hindus. Why didn't he follow his own? He went into the forest 12 years and he did the soul searching and he realized the truth. Buddha was a Hindu. Why didn't he follow Hinduism? He had all Vedas and everything ready in front of him. Why didn't he follow that? So every person who has reached enlightenment has followed their own path. Christ was Jew. He didn't follow Judaism. He followed his own path. And people followed him. That's why Christianity was created. And this is what happens. People are lazy. People don't want to do any of their efforts. That's a tamasic personality. You give me something. If I give you $10,000 every month, would you want to work? No. Nobody wants to work. And then I make you a slave to that knowledge. And that's what we are doing. Even more important than giving money is the knowledge about the God. The quest, your inquisitiveness, your curiosity has to be there. But I'm killing it by saying that, okay, this is your God. You don't have to do anything else. So you just follow the same rituals. Because I have been taught the same way from my priest or my guru. Say, okay, you do this and you're going to be fine. So if you listen to the heart of the message and you try to understand that what guru is telling you, if he's telling me that just bow down and this is all you need, then it's a wrong teaching. But if guru has been telling you that you follow your own guidelines, you go within, you do the soul searching, then he's a right guru. So you have to decide what you want to hear and what you don't want to hear. So faith is a killer of curiosity. And what is the opposite of faith? Doubt. Always have a doubt. Scientists always have a doubt. If Einstein had been told, before Einstein, everybody said, okay, this is the way the world is and there is nothing else. Einstein didn't want to accept that. He says there has to be something more in there. Whatever is visible, there has to be a lot more than that. And he came up with discoveries that nobody had imagined. So the science before Einstein and science after Einstein is like 180 degrees apart. Right. Science did not know anything about relativity. He said time is an illusion. Space is an illusion. He said you could bend the space. Who would have thought that you could bend space? Space that we say it's an empty thing. It is bendable.
No.
You can bend it. Even right now you're saying no. But mathematically has been proven that space can be bent. Space is bent already. You don't know that. And so that's what I'm saying, that if you want to know the secrets of life, you have to have an open mind. You don't have to accept anything until you realize it's not your truth. So that's why journey has to be taken. So religion.
Ultimately, journey we have to go alone.
Exactly.
We have to take our
you
own path.
have to do it. So religions, these so-called religions, by telling you that believe this and believe that, are only beliefs. And beliefs can be wrong. Belief can be right for them, but it may not be your belief. So until you realize it's nothing. So one guy converted himself from Hindu to Muslim religion.
Same thing.
Okay, well, you dropping potato and you picking up potato. You dripping tomato and you picking up tomato. Same thing. There is no difference. One guy, he came to Rajneesh. He says, I converted from Hinduism to Muslim. He says, okay, so what did you do? He says, well, instead of going to the temple, now I'm going to the mosque. All right? I changed my name too. He says, what's your name now? He says, what was your name before? He says, my name was Haridas. He says, what's your name now? Allah Rakha. Allah Rakha. So he becomes slave to Allah instead of being Haridas. He was a slave to Hari. Hari means God. Same thing. Nothing changes. You skip from one religion to another religion to another religion. It is just another traps. All these traps. But people find it convenient to walk on the path which has already been created by other people. And there are thousands of people walking on it. So people find it easy. So
That's
they just
the
keep
life.
doing it.
That's the life.
Exactly. But it's not life.
Life.
That's the problem. It is not life. You go to an ocean. You look at the ocean. You come home and say, okay, I saw the ocean. What you saw was only the waves. Do you know? And you know scientifically there is thousands of mile deep ocean there. You never saw the ocean. You saw the waves waving around, jumping up and down. You came home and he says, okay, I saw the ocean. It's not ocean.
चौपाटी घूम के.
Waves are in ocean, right? Waves are in ocean. Ocean is in the waves. but waves are not ocean. Got it? The world that you see, it lives in Paramatma. It lives in God. God is in the whole world, but the world is not God. So all your life you will pass through thinking that I saw the ocean, I saw Paramatma, this is life, and you pass on. You didn't get nothing. You didn't even scratch the surface. You have to go down to the depth of the ocean. Then the meaning of a human life is fulfilled. Why do you think the tree goes through all the suffering? From a seed, a tree is born, tree gets bigger, it goes through sufferings of all these summers, the heat and the cold of the winter drops the leaves and makes the leaves again, and ultimately the flowers are born, the fruits are born, and then finally a seed is born. Seed through all this journey until you become a seed again. So you came out of Paramatma. A wave is born out of the ocean until it realizes that it is nothing but the ocean. It has not realized the truth. So you keep on living like you're Lakshman. You are this, and you die. You lived your life as a wave, and you're going to collapse and be gone, and nobody will care about you, which is fine. But you never realized that you were the ocean. Every single square inch of a wave is ocean. But talking about it does not do anything, because that's just a talk. I'm talking about internal realization has to be there. So until you go within, you are not going to have realization. Everyone can talk about it. Even your gurus will say that, oh, this is all Paramatma. Fine. But do you know that? To know that, you have to go within. So it has to become your truth. That's what it is.
Ultimately, you have to go within. That's it.
Exactly. So giving a faith is the ultimate mistake. All these religions have done it. So we have to replace these religions with a process where everybody can have a chance to go within and create their own path and find their own truth. Then only world will change. The revolution will happen only when all these so-called religions are abolished. Then only true religion can start. The problem is the faith is being shoved down on the children's head only because they want to grab them before they have had chance to think about anything. Because thoughts are inherent function of our mind. We use our mind all the time. Mind means thoughts. Through the thoughts we can create a lot of things, we can understand the nature and all these things. But when it comes to knowing the God, it's been, you don't have to think about it. Because the moment child starts thinking and starts asking questions, they want to put the faith in their head. Oh, you are this. Don't even worry about it. That's why a lot of times you question. My cousin, he's in India. We grew up in a Jain family, staunch Jain family, very devout beliefs, and we do pujas and rituals and this and that. The best thing that happened, my parents never forced me to. So I never did all these things. And fine. So I had an inquisitive mind and I escaped and all that. My cousins, and they still keep on doing the rituals and all that. And I had a lot of discussions with them. I said, how about this and how about that? And he says, yeah, you're right. I mean, this guy is like 40-some year old, but he never questioned. Because you keep doing everything that has been going on. For example,
they have been taught like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For example, in Jainism, if a female monk, Muni, is there, female sadhvi, she still has to bow down to a male sadhu.
Why?
That's because males are superior.
Right.
No, that's not
Believe it
right.
or not.
Right.
Jainism, which was supposed to be born out of the revolution against the Brahmin thinking that Brahmins are superior, Kshudras are lower. So Mahavir Swami started Jainism. He says, no, the Dharma is available for all. And yet, and even right now, female sadhvi could be 10, 15, 20, 30 years senior. But if a male monk walks in front of her, she has to bow down.
Right.
Ridiculous. So I asked my cousin, he says, you're right. Why? So all these things, and even in Jainism, even right now, they say females cannot reach enlightenment. Talk about stupidity.
Females
They cannot. So they have to be reborn as a male before they can reach enlightenment. Believe it or not. And this is considered a pious religion,
Jainism?
non-violent religion. That's a violence on being a female. How could that be?
That's not
Right?
fair.
As if it's your mistake that you're born as a female. Things like that. That's what I'm saying. So, original people who reached enlightenment, they did reach enlightenment, but the people who started following them, it gets filtered. And it's like a fragrance of a rose goes in your body and comes out as durgand, as a bad smell. It's literally being filtered through the human minds which are not enlightened. If you are enlightened and I follow you, whatever you tell me, my mind is gonna get it to diverted, polluted, filtered, and then by the time this light will come out through me, will be totally polluted, and we call it this religion and that religion and this religion. And this has been going on for thousands of years. And that's something we give it to our children. Imagine.
They put it in Krishna Bhagavan in Narak, that.
Yeah, exactly. Total.
Jains, the Krishna, they said Krishna Bhagavan is a cousin of Neminath, the one of their Tirthankars. And because they say,
Because he
according to
killed,
them,
he was
the reason-
responsible for the war.
He's responsible for the
So he has to go to
Mahabharata.
Nark for now. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's all egoism, right?
Yeah.
Because every time
I never
create,
heard that.
Oh yeah, I mean they put it in the Nark. Krishna Bhagavan will go into the hell,
no, he's in hell. He's already in hell.
Yeah, he's on. But they
Be-
couldn't even.
But in the next kalp,
Yeah.
this is all ridiculous. Like they make predictions as if they're gods. They say that because he committed so much, he was responsible
Right.
for so much violence, so he's in jail, he's in a narc right now. But then when the next time, now they cannot be too bad because he's one of the main
Right.
gods of Hinduism. So
Right.
they don't want, so they say, well, next time he will be Tirthankar.
That time he'll be
He'll be the next
Tirthankar. So
Right.
this is one of our
He will be
24
enlightened-
preachers.
enlightened.
enlightened.
And the thing is that along with the faith, a lot of beliefs get corrupted. Now, talking about like in New York, there is a Jain temple. They were building a Jain temple there, and there was one major donor. He's a diamond business,
Merchant.
right? So he gave her like ridiculous, like several $1 million, right, to build it. So they have so much surplus money and all that. As if it's not bad enough, so now he has sponsored another study, almost $2 million, to do the study to find out where is actually Sumeru Parvat. Now, Sumeru Parvat is a fictional thing.
Yeah.
It's in the Jain scriptures that Chakravarti Bharat, when he died, he became the Chakravarti. He literally ruled over the whole continent.
Ashok Raja?
No, it's Bharat,
Bharat.
right? And then there is a story in the Jain scripture that he went to the Sumeru Parvat, and when you become Chakravarti, in your treasury, a chakra appears through which you can write your name, because that you are a conqueror of the whole world and this and that, so you become Chakravarti. And when you go to the Sumeru Parvat, you're taken there and you put your name down there, right? It's a story. I'm sure it's a story, right? And then when he goes down to write the name, there is no place there, right? So it's all story. But now look at the faith takes you in such a ridiculous places that this guy actually donated $2 million to do the study. He
find out
actually
where
employed
it
the
is.
scholars and this and that and all that to find out where is their Sumeru Parvat. So all these beliefs closes down your mind. Your scientific approach to life gets killed completely, right? So the same way, Jains, believe it or not, have their own geography. Even right now, if you spend time with the Jain Muni, he will try to convince, believe it or not, that Earth is flat.
Earth is flat.
Earth
yeah.
is flat.
They have whole astronomy in the South Gujarat.
Right.
Yeah.
Observatory or something.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
it says? Yeah, but museum. Yeah, it says like they are proving it. that
Yeah.
the Earth is flat.
So they will try to convince you. But these are all logical arguments. Logic, you can go with anybody. You can convince me. I can convince you using the logic. Maybe your intelligence or intellectual capacity is not to the point, or you have not spent enough time to do all these things. Your mind is not open. Then you will believe it. And I will believe somebody else. Just the way I believe somebody else, I'll try to convince you also. So logic does not mean anything. Even after now, billions of dollars have been spent. We know the earth is round. We know the moon is round. They say earth is flat. So all these ridiculous things happen in the name of faith. The faith can take you to ridiculous places where you start believing a lot of things. The last Sunday, I had spent a time with one of the key leader. One of my friends invited me. He says, I really want you to come and spend a little time, with this guy. And so they believe in Dada Bhagwan and all that. And oh my God, I had such a torture for like 2-3 hours. Yeah, and all they talk about is this karma and that karma and this and that and all that. And the guys, my friend, is all brainwashed too. So again, once they teach you, and they make this so complicated that you start believing that this guy is a scholar, So then once you believe it, then you start doing that. Oh yeah, whatever he says, you have to do it and this and that. You never stop to think that, is this thing makes any sense or not? This theory and that karma theory and that and this and that and all that. Ridiculously, the life has to be a lot simpler. It has to be so simple that it is available for everyone. Why has to be restricted to some few? But then because there is a secondary gain. By being such and such person, I can show you that I'm superior to you. If not for money, at least for ego. So all these things are ridiculously being practiced everywhere, and we become victim of all things. That's what we have to realize. Only when we realize it, then our journey will start. So if you look at it, I just came back from Israel, right? In Judaism, even though Christ was Jew, they make fun of him. There is actually literally, because they found these scrolls, they called Dead Sea Scrolls. There is a cave they found, the scrolls which were written, which dates back almost 4,000 or 5,000 years at the time of Abraham, who was the first spiritual leader. So according to the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it says that there is a mention of Jesus Christ and by the previous priests, and literally that yes, the guy named Jesus came and he went away and he went on his way, and as if they are like making mockery, making fun, that it's not that important. We are more important.
Well, I thought they predated Christ.
Of course they predated Christ.
Right.
Right, but they are original scrolls, right? But then the scrolls continue. The
Right.
people who practiced,
Yeah.
it was all written down in
Yeah.
scrolls, and there is a mention of Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
And that's why there is a conflict
Right.
between Judaism and Christianity, because Judaism never accepted Christ as a leader, even though he was their own son,
Right.
literally, right? But so things like that, they make fun of them. So they have to make the other religions inferior so that they can look superior. And that's what's being practiced everywhere. Like you go to Western Wall, right, in Israel, you see thousands of Jews all dressed up in such and such clothes. They all have long beards, they have all long hair, they're wearing the black cap, and they're chanting and all these scriptures, and thousands of scriptures are being literally crammed by the children, even 6-7-year-old kids, cramming this and cramming that, and this goes on all day long. They just keeps on. There is more people come and some people go, and it just continues go. Even at night, it's going on. So all these things become part of your ritual. And if you are a kid, and if you are never given a chance to think and ask whether this is correct or not, you will be doing the same thing like anybody else. And as long as you're covered by thousands of people doing the same thing, you will never question either.
You think it's the right thing to
You
do?
think it's all right, it's the right thing to do. And I'm sure they will have the same opinion about our Kumbh Mela. Talk about millions of people, even 100 times more than Western Wall,
Well,
right?
Or the Muslim.
Or Muslim, whatever, doesn't matter.
They cram too. They cram Quran.
They cram the same thing. We chant our mantras and thinking that chanting mantra will put you in heaven and this and that.
I used to think that.
Right, exactly. But they all do that. They give you a goal, right? First of all, they say by doing this, you will go to heaven.
But chanting mantra, nothing is wrong.
It is wrong. It is
Why?
brainwashing you. It is preventing you.
सिखाते हैं भाई तुम कुछ मंत्र जपो
सिखाते हैं,
हाँ,
right?
yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
It is fed in your head that by doing this, you will reach heaven. That's exactly.
No, they don't say heaven.
Oh, yeah, they
Just
say.
you get peace of mind. That's it.
Yeah, peace of mind is what?
Heaven.
See,
It's a
listen.
psychology. You should chant a mantra
What
or any
is-
name.
No, no, no,
Just
no.
chant Lakshman, Lakshman, Lakshman. Then also your brain will be cut off from outside and focus on one thing.
Exactly.
That's
What
it.
is peace of mind? What is peace of mind? All day long you're suffering. You go through into the day-to-day life. You want to make some amount of dollars. You have to support your family. You have to struggle. You have to make money. You have to convince people, your product, whatever. Right?
for-
No.
Yeah.
Let me finish. Let me finish. So you go through the struggles of life. You have a lot of stress. So for 15, 20 minutes a day, you do chanting. So your mind, instead of running around in 1,000 different places which have been giving you suffering, your mind comes to rest, and you call it peace. It's not peace.
Then
It's not peace.
So what is
It's
that?
relative peace. It's nothing. It's
Mind is
brainwashing.
It's the absence of your.
It's absence of
disturbance.
suffering.
Yeah,
It's
absence of your
not a
disturbance.
positive joy.
Just like drinking, absence of suffering.
Exactly.
When you-
absence of
Absence of
Disturbance.
suffering.
suffering.
It's only a temporary distance yourself from the suffering. But suffering doesn't go away. As soon as you
हमारे
finish
गुरु
the...
बोलते हैं जो चैंट क्या क्यों बोलते हैं?
But that's the thing.
So
Ask
chant.
yourself, what does it do for you? At the end of your chanting, do you feel yourself comfortable? Maybe for a few seconds, and then you go back to your daily life, and you still have suffering. Why?
Then again do chanting.
They do chanting and never go to business.
हाँ?
Then they never don't do the business. Keep on chanting.
When business के तभी chant करो ना.
But that's hypnotism. You are being hypnotized by the mantra. That's exactly what I'm saying. That
एक गुरु है तो मंत्र सबको ठीक करता है, कुमार स्वामी.
that's what you believe that.
नहीं, that's on.
As everybody says that.
Yeah.
You are locked in the same mindset that everybody else is doing. And I'm sure in the Judaism, the same thing. They say, oh, you do this and you believe in this, so it will happen. That is, there was the teacher asked a kid in the class. He says, there are 12 ships in the fence. If 5 ships jump out, how many ships will be left? So the kid was smart. He says, none. He says, why? 12 ships are there. 5 ran away. Wouldn't you know the answer? How many sheep will be left? He says, sir, I know my sheep well. He was a farmer's boy. He says, if 5 jumps, all 12 will jump. So you are a sheep. You're just following other sheep. That's all. You never question yourself that have I gotten an absolute bliss or absolute painless suffering, absolute existence of happiness in my life, regardless of whether I'm chanting or not, whether I'm doing business or not.
24 hours a day.
24/7 peace. Do you have it? No.
No.
Then you're in a wrong path.
Then nobody has that. Yeah.
Well, I have it.
Well, Buddha did.
No, nobody has
I
that.
have it.
Buddha have it. Buddha had it. Mahavir had it.
How you know?
Well,
They know.
everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Everybody
that.
knows.
So because they went within, I have it.
I have it.
I have it. He has it too. If you do meditation, you will reach that spot where you see yourself distance from your mind. Mind is the ultimate cause of suffering. Mind takes you into sansar. Mind is a ultimate product of 5 senses. Every sense feeds the impulses from the sansar and ultimately gets locked into the mind. You are happy right now chanting, for example.
Yeah.
Until somebody comes and he says, what a stupid thing to do. You should be chanting this. Don't you believe in that? Now, supposing you are surrounded by Muslim friends, they will convince you that Allah is the best God. And this is not the first time. It has happened. In this country, you may not be able to go through that experience, but go to India
Even
and
in
other
movies
remote
they
places.
show you.
What's that?
Even in movies they show you
Yeah,
the one person will
They believe
convert.
that. And supposing, say, you started believing that, okay, Allah is the best God instead of Hindu God, and then they tell you that, oh, dying for Islam is the best thing, you will go to heaven. So you become a suicide bomber. It has happened. There is a US citizen.
Yeah.
He's a target for drone attack. Did you know
Right.
that?
Yeah.
He's a US citizen, got brainwashed to fight against America. Now go figure it out. It's all in the brain, all in the mind. But in meditation, you go above the mind. You start watching as if mind is not you. The first revolution takes place when you realize you cut your identification off from your mind, from your body, from the world. You are not that. You are something else. Gurdjieff was a great philosopher. I think he was born somewhere in Armenia, Romania, or something
Europe,
like
Russia,
Europe somewhere,
Russia
yeah,
continent.
Russia.
Continent.
Gurdjieff is a great philosopher. He said, man is not a single entity, man is a crowd. Our mind is filled with different identification. Though you wake up in the morning and you say, this is my house, this is my wife, these are my children, whatever, right? And you leave and you go to work. Oh, this is my shop, this is my business, this is my that. Then you go somewhere else. At the end, you go to the temple. Oh, I'm a Hindu, I have to do this. Every single person has thrown into your head that you are this, you are this, you are that. If I pick you up and drop you off in an African jungle, I pick you up, and 5 years later, you'll forget you are. You will start relating yourself to the surrounding. You will forget what you are. So right now, your mind is surrounded and is filled up with all wrong identifications, right? And when those identifications disappear, real you will come up. How did I become a doctor? Somebody taught me how to become a doctor. And I'm practicing what I learned. That's it. But was I a doctor when I was born? No. Deep inside, I'm nothing. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a Hindu. I'm not a Jain. I'm not a whatever. Nothing. I am totally omnipotent, omnipresent, infinite consciousness. When you reach that realization, all your identifications drop. It's almost like there is a party going on in your head. Everybody is there. All the guests are there. Hindus are there, Muslims are there. Whatever you believe in that is there. There's party, except you are absent. Imagine the chaos. A chaos going on in your head because every single point your identification keeps on changing. And yet, the party goes on. You go to bed with the dreams about the party. All your that literally they have taken over your mind. The black label says you're a black label drinker. Margarita people say you're a margarita drinker, or beer, or whatever, or Haagen-Dazs. All your beliefs that I am this, I enjoy that, all these beliefs have crowded your mind. You are still in the mind. Your beliefs that, oh, chanting will take me to a peace of mind. That's your belief. Has it ever happened? Temporary maybe, but not permanent. So permanent happiness and permanent peace is where you can be peaceful. That's your nature. The infinite consciousness nature is pleasure and be happy. Because there is no suffering. Suffering is only in samsara. If I use my senses, I look at you, you are taller than me, I am not happy. Then how come Lakshman is taller than me? And I walk around, Lakshman has nothing to do with it even. I may walk around feeling inferior. That's a product of my mind. When I get away from all my sense experiences, my suffering disappears. I am not inferior to anyone. I am not superior to anyone. I may be walking around thinking that I am better than you. Then also it's wrong. Feeling inferior to anyone is also wrong. But when you reach the consciousness which has no shape, no size, and so are you. If you identify yourself with your body, or your shape, or your size, your intelligence, your intellect, then you're comparing yourself with me. Then you may be feeling superior, may be feeling inferior, or whatever. And then your goal is started. And they say, oh, do this chanting, you will have a peace of mind. So you already accepted that you are not at peace. And your journey starts. You are not at peace. You have to do this to get peace. Not realizing that true peace is your true nature. The peace is already there.
It's ignorance. Yeah.
This ignorance that you identify, that identification with your intellect, with your intelligence, with your body, with your mind, and with the world is ignorance. And yoga is nothing but removing this ignorance. Yoga is nothing but changing you from the crowd in your head to a single entity, just you, nothing else. And that, when that happens, the peace happens. The absolute bliss can happen. So that's the real yoga. And when you connect yourself with the crowd, say it could be a Hindu or Muslim or Christian, what happens? Your soul disappears. Literally, your soul cannot function. A Muslim crowd can kill or torture or burn a Hindu girl, but a single Muslim will not be able to do it. When he wants to commit that crime, his soul will say, you're doing something wrong. But when you are in a crowd, you can do it easily. You and me, we can also get carried away. If you identify yourself as a Hindu or Muslim, as a crowd, I don't take any responsibility anymore.
Crowd outside.
If I have 1,000 people to back me up, you do whatever, everybody's there to back you up, go ahead.
Support.
Burn a mosque, destroy the Hindu temple, kill the monks, whatever. All the negative things, all the crimes have been committed when people relate themselves to their intellect or body or the mind. Mind, body, intellect, intelligence does not exist. These are only tools that has been given to us. But we are attaching ourselves and start believing that that's what I am. It's like you are hungry, for example. I shouldn't say you are hungry. Supposing you have hunger. You will say, I'm hungry. But who is really hungry? Your body is hungry. Your body is made out of matter, right? The food for the matter is the food. The food keeps the body alive. Once you process the food, you gain energy, so your body can sustain, and then waste products are eliminated, which goes back to the cycle of food again. It becomes food for small bacteria, and then it supports the plants, and the cycle comes back, produces apple again or food again, you eat. The body goes on. Body is dependent on the food, right? So your body is hungry. But then what about the mind? Mind recognizes the hunger, right? But mind, supposing you are hungry, but you're so involved in your doing your day-to-day work, you don't even recognize that you are hungry until the day is finished. Oh my God, I have so much hunger, right? So mind can forget. Ultimately, and where does the soul stand? Soul is only the knower that all these things are happening. That's where the buck stops. Your soul knows what is going on. That's all. Without that knowledge, you will not know that you're hungry. So your body is hungry. Your mind might have desire of its own, but soul has nothing to do with it. Soul is formless. Soul has no shape, no size. It's only like space. But it's full of knowledge. It knows what is going on. So when you say, I'm hungry, you are not hungry. My body is hungry. So meditation takes you to that place where it teaches you how to dissociate yourself from wrong identification. Then only real you shines up. Until then, you will say, I'm Hindu, I have to do chanting, I am Muslim, I have to go to the mosque. All this identification will define your behavior. And believe me, all these wrong identifications with the body, mind, and intellect have created havoc. It's not a small thing as far as say, okay, I should meditate or not. It's not as simple as that. All these wrong identifications have created all the riots, communal riots, Hindu, Muslims, Americans, non-Americans, communism, democracy, all these are beliefs.
So following religion in itself is not wrong. Is following religion blindly is wrong.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what it is.
Because eventually, after all that,
Despite
you can follow something.
you can. There is no
Same
problem.
thing.
No, but no, you have to be above that though. That's the thing. See, until something happens and somebody challenges you, you don't realize that. Supposing you are in a company of another religion and they really start barging on you and starting making fun of you, see what happens.
You'll fight.
You will fight. You will feel hurt. Supposing you may not even fight, but you will get hurt. That, oh, why did he say that about my religion? It's the wrong identification. See, the thing is that all religions teach you is brotherly love.
But somebody created the religion.
But what I'm saying is there was no need. If there is a brotherly love, if you love the whole humanity, if you love the whole world, if you love the universe, then what's the point in creating the religion in the first place? Why give anybody any identification? For what? What is the purpose? It's like a child comes to me and wants a toy. Do you think I'll give him a gun? Here, you play. Now, the same toy, if I give to a child who is really understanding, he said, no, this gun can kill, all right? And he may play it wisely and just play a little bit and keep it safety locked, whatever. But what if the child does not know that and his mind operates in a different way? He starts realizing that, oh, gun, I'm going to use it to kill other people and enjoy. Whose fault is that? Child's fault or your fault?
Parents' fault.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing. All these religious leaders wanted to teach that everybody is equal. In the name of God, everybody is the same. But you are better than others.
We are a little higher.
Now, if I don't say that, who will come to me? If I say that Hinduism is better than Jainism, or oh, this is ridiculous, this and that, then nobody will come to me. He says, no, I say all religions, whether you go there or you come here, it doesn't matter. Then I will not have any followers. My coffers, my treasury will be empty. You know what I'm saying? So I have nothing against religions, but these are wrong identification. As if we need any more identity. See, the whole process of meditation is to break the identification. These are wrong. This is illusion. This is Maya. We want to break it. As it is, as soon as you're born, say there are some identifications given to you, say I'm a male, or you're a female, or you're a human being. Those differences you cannot eliminate. You are born with it, you're going to die with it. That's what is given to you by the nature. All right? Along with the male, you will have certain thoughts that I have to be aggressive, I have to make the money, go out in the world, whatever, right? So those are bad as it is. The nature is playing trick on you. There's nothing you can do about it. But on top of that, we adding these things. You're a Hindu, you're Muslim. So now the kid has more difficult time to break those identifications until he realizes that he is the true soul and self. And so you're making it more difficult for children to become enlightened. And that's where the problem is. So what happened? Why did the science make a progress and religions didn't? Religions created more wars than science did. Science is for everyone. Science believes in no fixed belief. They want to do an experiment. They get the results which are available to all the journals everywhere in the world. Same science, you can use it. You can use that iPhone or iPad or phone universally. They say, oh, no, this was invented by the American scientists. You cannot use it. No one says that science is open to all. That's why science has made progress. We need a scientific approach in the field of religion also. Supposing we all were, instead of wasting our time in following this religion and this ritual and that ritual, if we are all going within and ultimately coming out with the realizations that I am nothing but an infinite soul. Why do I have to have a greed? Why do I have to have a hatred? Then I'm going to see the same infinite space within you, which I have realized within myself. Then brotherly love, neighborly love, or universal love will automatically follow. If I know that I'm only a soul, which I cannot take anything with me, my greed will automatically stop. I'll be happy with whatever I have. I don't have to fight for any more. I don't have to have big balances. I don't have to defend myself or nothing. So all this identification starts going down. And that's the right direction. And the thing is that all these notions grab attention of our mind and we start believing it because everybody else believed it. Aristotle in Greece, even he being a great philosopher, he believed that women have less teeth than men. For almost 1,000 years in Greek civilization, they believed that women have less teeth. And Aristotle had 2 wives. He didn't even have time to sit down and count. He also believed that women are, because they are inferior race, they have less teeth than men. And it went on for a long time until science proved that it is all wrong. Everybody has the same teeth. Imagine Aristotle, who was smarter than you and me combined. And yet he believed that. So beliefs are wrong. You have to have your own experiment. Going within in doing meditation is the experiment that you're doing. Same thing that you're doing with the matter is science. And when you do with spirit, it's meditation. You go within with open mind and see what happens. You find out for your own truth and you will see. And I won't tell you what you will see, but you will see.
Spirit.
Exactly.
He can keyword spirit.
So you need a free mind, free from beliefs. Then only you can explore within. Because when you have a faith, you become locked in certain such and such belief. And when you are locked in, your mind is not free. You are not open. You are not open to find the truth. So the so-called religions cannot enter into the textbooks to teach to our children. It's already been a lot of damage outside the textbooks already been done. So what needs to get in is a universal situation where you call it religion or not, but universal way of life where meditation has to be a part of everybody's everyday's curriculum in the schools. And for that, all we can do is tell the child or coax the child into go in the right direction. And then whatever will happen is nothing but science. Is nothing but science. If you go within, you will find Paramatma. You will find God. You will find infinite consciousness. It's unwritten rule. Everybody who has gone within has found it. So let them find their own. It's like putting a seed into the soil. And then do you go in and turn the seed into a plant? No. But that's what we're trying to do. We're putting the seeds of Hinduism, we're putting the seeds of Jainism or Christianity and say, oh, you do this and you do this. We are interfering with the God's process. With meditation, all you do is just tell them, create the atmosphere in the house with a very meditative approach that we have done it, peaceful atmosphere, and you coax them to go into that. After that, it has to happen. The seed turns into a plant on its own. The plant brings the flowers on its own. You don't have to do anything. You just have to provide the right environment. You provide the water, you provide the nutrition, you provide the sunlight, and the rest, nature takes over.
One of the Osso's lecture was saying that don't believe in anything
Mhm.
before you believe.
Exactly,
in
yeah,
something. It was
absolutely.
very nice.
Yeah.
So we have to teach children how to
Before you
meditate
believe in
and
And
create
then let the results happen on
create
its
the
own.
environment.
Actually,
like
you're gonna teach them. You do it yourself.
You
they'll
do it
follow
yourself,
you.
they will follow. When I used to eat bad foods, my son also was eating bad foods and he was becoming chubby. Everybody said, oh, it looks so healthy. I said, it's not healthy, really. He had a belly. So when I started living healthy life, I started running. My son says, Dad, can I join you? They follow. First, we have to come out of our wrong ideas that we are doing something right. We are not. By anybody's belief, I'm not talking about any particular religion. All religions are bad. All beliefs are bad. Forget about religion. All beliefs that, okay, you live in a democratic country, you think democracy is the best way to live life? Think again. I was in Vietnam. People are happy. They're living communist life. Communism also can work, only if it is done right. And there are pitfalls, of course, but there are pitfalls in democracy too. We have seen enough of that too. There is no best system in the world. The best system is within us. If I believe that I am the infinite soul, if my greed is under control, if my hatred is under control, I'll be happy wherever I am. External systems have nothing to do. That means we are opening the soil and seeing what happened to the seed. I plant the seed and next day I come and say, what is happening? Third day I come and see what is happening. Fourth day I'm killing the plant. Nothing is, and that's what has happened. The humanity has the best potential to follow the path of meditation and create a beautiful plant out of it. We are killing it. By going again and again, telling the child, you do this and you do this, and we're killing it. So Gita says, it's a beautiful shlok, it's very popular. Sarva dharmam parityajye. Give up all the religions. Religions means righteousness, that they claim that we are the best. This is the right path, this is the wrong path. Give up all these things. Krishna is telling you. And you think Krishna is a Hindu god? Think again. He's saying, Sarva dharma parityajye. Give up all the religions. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Come under my shelter. Come bow down to me. And when he says that, he's not talking as a Hindu god. We created Hinduism. Forget about him. He doesn't say any religion. He says he is the consciousness. He's the ultimate peace. He's the ultimate infinite, omnipotent, omnipresent God that we can call God. When you go within, there are no labels. Just come under my shelter. Aham tvam sarva papebhya. I will get rid of all your sins. All your sins and all your sufferings are because for your all false identifications. That's what he means. Identifications are religions. Identifications are communist. Identifications are democratic. Identifications are this and that and all this. And you commit crimes based on that because you believed that this is it. You believe that this is correct. As soon as I say my path is correct, your path is wrong. And I might have committed crime based on that. Say, I should kill this guy or hate this guy or whatever may be the case. Krishna says, I will get rid of all your papas. All your sins that you have done, I will get rid of it for you. As long as you come under my shelter. Aham tvam sarva papebhya.
By meditation, right?
You reach to the Krishna consciousness. Even Krishna disappears. Only the consciousness stays there. And who can make a claim like that? Do you think Hindus can make a claim? Then Judaism says, then what about our gods? Then what about Christian gods? What about Muslim gods? Everybody is claiming that way. But only one person, if you call it a person, one entity can claim which encompasses every single thing. Advait is the only religion that is the true religion which encompasses everything. Hindus can give up their sins. As a Hindu, you might have committed sins. As a Christian, you might have committed sins. Krishna consciousness then, come under my shelter. You become one with me, and I'll free you from all your sins so far.
What is advice?
You have to come more often. It's not that easy, believe me, to answer. Ask Maybe. He will tell you. He has been to Advait. You have not. When you reach there, you have no questions left. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. Moksh ikshami ma suchaha. Moksh, I'll take you to moksh. Ma suchaha, do not fear. Give up all your sufferings, give up all your fears. Have faith in me, come to me. Then I'll free you from all the sins. Right? That spot is there. All you have to just make efforts. So sarva dharmam parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ikshami ma suchaha. It's 18th chapter. Give up all the ideas of righteousness, all identifications with body, mind, intellect. Surrender into me exclusively. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. That's what it means. Total surrender to Krishna. Krishna is not a human figure that we have imagined about. He's not a Gokul boy. Again, the same mistake. Right. So, when the nectar is coming to you, grab it. And do not make a mistake, nectar for something else. There was a story in Puran that the guy was a chamar. All he did was leave the dead animals and the carcasses of the animals, and that was his profession. So one day, Vishnu thinks that I want to enlighten someone. He says, who else could it be who has known nothing but killing the animals and sufferings and all this, and he's making living out of his, let me give him enlighten. So he comes in his dreams. He says, wake up tomorrow morning, and the first person who walks by, he's gonna give you a bowl full of nectar. Drink that and you will reach enlightenment. Now the chamar wakes up in the morning, and all he has lived his life doubting everybody, lived with the lowest of the things where you live by killing animals and all that. One very ordinary looking sadhu is passing by, and he has a kamandal, a pot kind of thing. He says, here, this will do you good. So chamar, being his own tendencies, he doesn't think. He thinks that a sadhu walking around, he's carrying this pot, he's walking in a jungle, what do you think he will be carrying? Probably is his urine, because you need a pot to pee. So he thought this is urine coming in. He gave it, and he said, no, thank you very much, Sadhu Bab, you're okay. I don't want that. He missed the chance. So nectar is flowing through Gita. By bowing down to Krishna as a human figure, again we're mistaking. We are not grabbing the nectar, we're thinking it's nothing, and we give up reading the Gita. Gita has a real meaning, but it was meant only if you take it right. But it's our wrong thinking that, again, I will start defending Gita overnight. So again, when you try to defend Gita thinking that it's a Hindu Granth or Hindu, then you didn't get it. You didn't get it in the first place. There is universality present in Gita. That's what you have to sense it. Krishna says, I am in all and all is in me. Whoever sees me in everyone and everyone in me sees me all the time. Only when you get the grasp of Advait consciousness, then you got the idea.
That's why he says, "Come unto me, not to me."
Exactly, yes. So all these so-called temples are the creations of human beings. Whatever you create has to be inferior to you. If I have a chance of having 100 paintings of Picasso versus Picasso himself, what would I choose? I'll choose Picasso, because Picasso can always paint more for me. What is 100 paintings? Even though that has a lot of monetary value, the value of Picasso is more. All the temples which are outside are man's creation. But where is God's creation? God's creation is us. We are the temples. We have to go within. We have to settle ourselves within the temple which is inside us. We are the live example of creation of God. All the religions are outside. All the temples are outside. All their treasuries are outside. All their rituals are outside. All their mantras are outside. Everything is outside. But they're all created by a human being, which is a creation of God. So where would you go? It doesn't make sense to go to the man's creation, because man himself is a creation of someone else. Go within. You have a chance to interact with consciousness itself. So when the God is calling you face to face, we can be with him. Why are you wasting your time everywhere else? You know?
One of the Sri Ravi Shankar lecture was very good. This is that we lost the value of the religion and we try to do rituals.
Exactly, yeah.
Then we forgot the value
Right.
of the religion.
Because the thing is that rituals creates the need for purohits, and ultimately then you need, because those things are supposed to connect you to Paramatma, to the consciousness. But now we're telling purohits to do it for us. We give him $100 and he will do it for you, thinking that you have reached enlightenment or you're gonna on your path to enlightenment. You know, whoever does it is the one who can reach it. Only if you do it with that sense. But how are you gonna bow down to something you don't even know what you're bowing down to? To you, it may look like a statue. Say, okay, I'm bowing down because everybody else is doing it. You go home and say, you did your dharma. You didn't do nothing. You didn't do nothing at all.
Easy way out also.
Exactly, yeah.
It's kind of easy way
So
out.
if you go within and you realize the consciousness and then you bow down, bowing happens. Nobody has to be told that, oh, you bow down. You telling your children, you bow down, you do this and you do that. Without realizing how you cannot do it. So, but that's what we're doing to the kids. Even the knowledge that has been taught in the schools, that's all material knowledge. It's all about matter, how to manipulate the matter, how to become an expert. So whatever knowledge has been taught, then he basically learns it and he practices, ultimately to make money, make a living, and then move on, ultimately give up everything that he has made anyway. So all the life is involved in matter, he deals with matter, and he lives. The whole life has remained material. We never got the spiritual aspect. And yet, spirituality is there. Everything that is being operated is the spirituality, but he never gets the grasp of it. Just the way we go to the ocean, look at the waves, and go home. The life is not just matter, it's a spirit too. Life is beautiful as it is outside, but there is more beauty within. So we have to have a balanced samyak education. We have to have a balanced education. Matter and the spirit, both are important. You see, life is like a partially frozen river. The spirit is there is a flow of water, but some of the water is frozen too. So ultimate water is locked in the ice too. So if you look at only the icy surface and say, okay, this is a river, you didn't know. You didn't know the flow. The flow of spirit is within. So when we connect the dots and realize everything is only one, that is Advaita. That ultimately you have to have a concept of spirit, mind, non-separable. Ultimately all boil down to nothing but spirit. And that's how it is. So real knowledge, it always eludes us till we die. And it's very subtle. It's not easy to grasp because our tools, we know only the body and the mind. the other tools which are available, we never use it. We never analyze it to really break it down to realize that it's there. But for that, we have to drop our senses. Senses are our tools. We work in our day-to-day life. We use our eyes, we use our ears and nose and smell and touch and everything. Using these tools, we function in the world. Those tools are operated by mind. So mind is also a tool that we use. But then to go beyond, there are other tools available, which fortunately human beings have it. Animals don't have it. It's the awareness. You become aware. The awareness is a tool that does not require any senses at all. You can be aware, but you don't need any sense. What sense operates at the awareness level? Zero. On the contrary, senses dulls your awareness if you get carried away. Black Label, Häagen-Dazs, ice creams, whatever, some girl, some boy, whatever. It drags you into all these places. And the flow of the senses is outward. But not realizing that all these senses would be meaningless if there is no awareness. I may be touching something, but my mind is somewhere else. You may be passing by, and my mind is somewhere else. Oh, I don't know what. Oh, did you pass by? I don't even remember, because my awareness was not there. Awareness is behind everything, and yet we never pay attention to the awareness. So meditation is all about becoming aware of awareness. You pay attention to your awareness. At that time, the dance of the senses stop. The senses that have been fooling you, harassing you, giving you the sufferings, or dreams of the future, whatever, everything disappears. And only awareness stays. And you reach to a steady state, the sthit prajna state, where only awareness stays. You become aware of your awareness, and that awareness merges with the awareness, and you become the consciousness itself. You become the God. But we walk around with our beliefs and thinking that this is all we need and this is all we practice all day long. So it was like there was a guy who goes to a bar and it was kind of late. So he goes to the bar owner and he says, "Can I have a lantern? I can take it home so that it doesn't really, I don't end up in the ditches or something like that." So the guy says, "Yeah, there is a lantern there. Maybe you can pick it up and then return it tomorrow, once it lights up." He says, "Okay." So he goes and picks up, and then he walks and walks, but there is no light coming out of the lantern. So he curses and he says, "Oh, these kind of lanterns nowadays are so made so cheap and this," and then he curses and goes home and this and that, and next day he calls and he says, "What kind of lantern you gave us?" So the bar owner sent someone. He says, "Let me check it out," and he knocks on the door. He says, "Sir, you walked away with our parrot's cage instead of the lantern." So it's very symbolic. We are all cages made out of parrots. Parrots repeats whatever it learns. So we learn from outside. Our beliefs are from outside. All our education is from outside, and we keep repeating. And whoever has a good memory repeats better. He makes more money. Simple as that. But the real light inside us becomes dim and remains useless. So God is the most subtle experience of life. It cannot just happen like that. If it was that simple, everybody will reach Godhood. Everybody will be Mahavir. Everybody will be Buddha. Mahavir would not have gone 12 years in jungle to achieve that. It's not easy. And that's why people take highways. Oh, I'm a Jain or Hindu. Just keep doing. So it allows you not to use your awareness. Awareness becomes dull and thinking that I will be okay. And that's okay is not okay. So it's not worth being a blind believer. Blind believers have created more problems in this world than non-believers. It's better to be a non-believer and accept that I don't know. But if I know that I am Hindu, I'm going to fight with the Muslim. But if I knew that I don't know really where the God is, it's better. That's a guts. It takes guts to be a non-believer. It's guts to say, defy whatever you've been taught. That's the first step. You know why? Because if you realize that you're ignorant, about God, then only your quest for real knowledge will come. If I've been told that this is God, my quest will never start, because knowledge is there. Fake knowledge, but knowledge is there. And once the mind knows, that's fine. Because ultimately, the consciousness is knowledge. It's all about knowledge. Consciousness is knowledge, it's awareness, and until you have knowledge, you will not be satisfied. Right? So our journey, when you realize that you are ignorant, then your journey towards knowledge will start. True knowledge I'm talking about. But when it's been masked by the fake knowledge, the quest for real knowledge never starts. It's like giving your children in the hands of nanny. Nanny is there, nanny takes care of everything, feeds and all that, cannot give motherly love. So the knowledge that we have outside, is it making us happy? All the suffering would have disappeared long time ago. That's the fake knowledge. So by giving the fake knowledge to our children, we're making them believe that, okay, have faith and have this, we're killing it. So that's why when you realize that you're ignorant, you do not have a real knowledge of God, that's a big revolution in our head. Then only you will feel like going in the right direction and receive the knowledge. Then you will rest. Then only a seed will become a tree, and tree will produce the seeds. Only till then the tree will not rest until it makes the seeds again. So our deep inside consciousness is nothing but knowledge. And until we get established in that knowledge again, we will be restless. No matter how much we fool ourselves that, oh, I'm happy, I have made this much money, I have family, this and that, all that is if you're fooling yourself. It's not real thing. So it requires courage to become a non-believer, and there is nothing wrong. It's a step against the conventional wisdom, but that will take you somewhere. Until that happens, you will not go anywhere. The thing is, you can say that the religions, after all, teach good things. They teach you not to steal, not to kill, not to hate. It sounds all good, but these are all fake. But police does the same thing. Don't steal, don't kill. So on one side, there is a police making the legal restrictions on you from doing bad things. On the other hand, your priest says the same thing, but these are all external instructions that are fed into your head. Deep inside, you may want to do it though, right? So until the root is removed, that I don't see any need for doing this. It's like until you realize your own consciousness, self within, your desires to steal or kill may still exist. Fine, you may not do it because you are so-called religious or you are a good citizen. You may not do it, but inside, I may have desire to lie or hate. Those things, what are you going to do with that? When you suppress desires, they come out in all different weird fashions. And ultimately, you may commit such a major thing, and ultimately it robs your happiness from within. But when you realize your own self as a consciousness, formless self, you don't want to do it. Gurdjieff said that sins are, it's when you get established in your consciousness, you recognize all these sins are useless. What am I holding for? What am I hating for? For what? Ultimately, I am that infinite consciousness. And my existence will be always there. Whether the body dies or not, my identification with the body is gone. So I can never die because I am not matter. I am the spirit. If I don't die, what difference does it make? I don't have to really worry that I'm going to die. Not that I want to die tomorrow either. That's another thinking. Whatever happens is you're acceptable. Ultimately, you will be accept all the illnesses. If there is something you can do about it, you do it. Don't get me out of business, but but at least you're not worried about dying. I mean, compared to a lot of people who literally have so much fear of death. You are not the body. So how could you die? Imagine the frame of mind. Now you're free. All the bondages of the body, mind, and intellect makes you a slave. When you consider that my life is attached to this possession or that possession, you are a slave. If you break all these bondages, you are a free soul. That's the true freedom. And imagine the state of mind that you can have a free life. Or it's beautiful. Henry David Thoreau was a great philosopher. I think he was in Boston area. Great philosopher. And he never went to church all his life. So at his last few moments when he was going to die, priest shows up from the church again to show his superiority. He said, see what is happening because you didn't believe in Christ and you didn't come to the church. So he comes and tells Henry that, okay, now your life is coming to an end. Are you ready to reconcile with God, to make amends for all the differences you had? So Henry tells a beautiful thing. He says, I never think I had any disagreements with God all my life. I lived with him and I'm dying with him. So I don't see any need to reconciliation when I have never had differences with God. So going to a church is not the ultimate way of reconciling with God. You can reconcile with God yourself. You can have your own temple within. So it's almost like you have a problem within and you may have a wound within, but by going to this so-called religions, sites and all that, you're putting flowers on it, thinking that everything will look good. But the wound is still there. It's still festering. It may kill you. And it gives you suffering. But people keep doing it.
So Vijay's class is cancelled.
Yeah. That's why I'm still
No.
talking.
No, we can do the yoga here. What
We
we
can,
have.
I would
Wait, it's over?
end of the driveway.
What's that?
You finished it?
No,
Yeah,
drive it.
We can do yoga.
It's gonna, yeah, we can do the yoga.
There was
And,
some
Yeah.
but it's gonna, tomorrow it's gonna be in a full.
Okay, I guess we conclude then.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.